Lily had called Sienna over to her house since she was alone. Aldrich personally dropped Sienna off, as after a recent incident, he no longer trusted even his loyal driver. Sienna was casually chatting with Lily when the doorbell rang. Lily went to open it, and a very familiar voice followed. Sienna was shocked to see Peter walking into the living room. What was Peter doing there? "Close your mouth, kiddo, if you don't want any fly to devour it," Peter joked, teasing her. Sienna turned to look at Lily with narrowed eyes. Lily bit her lips and looked down, avoiding her gaze. Suspicion crept into Sienna's mind. What exactly was going on between them? "Nothing as such you're thinking," Peter said, answering the question she hadn't voiced aloud. Peter clarified that he and Lily were just friends for the time being. Both had suffered from impulsive decisions in the past, and now preferred to take things slow before rushing into relationships again. Lily added that since it was Peter's day off, she thought it would be nice to invite him over. He made for good company. Trying to brush it off, Sienna laughed and said she understood. Okay, no need to explain." Peter then opened his bag, his so-called magical bag, as whimsical as Doraemon's pocket, and produced pizza and Coke. Sienna almost expressed her joy out loud, but kept it to herself. As she and Lily were about to dig in, Peter took the food back. "Have some patience, birds," he teased. He set up a movie, sanitized their hands, and sat between the girls. Lily dimmed the lights to enhance the ambience. "Now you are free to eat while enjoying the romance." Peter chuckled and started the movie. The dim lighting made it hard to see anyone's face, and soon the movie absorbed their attention. Sienna heard some playful whimpering to her right, undoubtedly Peter teasing Lily again. She chose to stay out of it, focusing instead on her food and the movie. As the movie progressed, it revealed a female lead struggling with her feelings for the male lead. Despite knowing she loved him, she couldn't muster the courage to confess. The poetic friend of the female lead asked her why she seemed so confused. "Can you tell me what is love?" the girl asked. He pondered the question and answered, "Love is a feeling no one can define with words. It's mysterious and indescribable, but I'll try." He continued, explaining that love makes life feel new each day. True love sees beyond imperfections to the soul, shaping one's world. As Sienna watched, she felt like the message was directed at her. In her heart, there was only one name, Aldrich. The character went on. "Love makes someone perfect in your eyes. You accept them fully, flaws and all. You feel incomplete without them and long to express your feelings." The poetic words struck a chord with Sienna. She couldn't hold back anymore. She stood up suddenly, shouting, "Yes! Yes! Yes!" without even realizing it. Startled, Peter asked what had gotten into her. Without answering, she picked up her phone and rushed toward the exit. "Where are you going? The movie isn't over," Lily called out. "I know," Sienna replied, "but I've understood what the movie wanted to convey. I can't keep these feelings buried anymore." Outside, Aldrich's driver was waiting. "Take me to the penthouse," she ordered. The driver hesitated. "Sir asked me to wait for him." "I can't wait. Just drive," she said firmly and got into the car. She made up her mind. She would confess her feelings to Aldrich, regardless of his reaction. There was only 1 month left until their wedding. If not now, then when? Arriving at the house, she asked a maid where Aldrich was. "In the study," came the reply. Despite knowing Aldrich hated being disturbed during work, nothing could stop her now. She was nervous, unprepared, but resolute. Today she would tell him everything. As she approached the door, she paused to calm herself. The door was slightly open, strange since Aldrich never left it ajar. She heard a female voice, Delia's. Pushing the door open slightly, she saw Delia inside, speaking to Aldrich, who sat quietly in his chair. "You remember what you said that night, but not what we did," Delia said, raising her voice. "Keep your voice low. I don't like people talking to me with attitude," Aldrich warned, his piercing gaze intimidating her. "I don't care about your likes anymore. This is about my life. I stayed silent when you married that—" In a flash, Aldrich was in front of Delia, his hand around her neck, not enough to suffocate her, but certainly enough to assert dominance. "One more word about her, and I will not hesitate to chop off your tongue," he growled, eyes deadly. He released her, and she coughed twice before regaining her composure. "You will pay for everything you've done to me," she hissed. Aldrich opened his mouth to speak, but she interrupted. "If you don't want to be tomorrow's scandal, listen carefully. You've built your image with so much hard work. Don't ruin it." Then came the words that froze the air. "I am pregnant." Aldrich's eyebrows furrowed in disbelief. Sienna felt her breath catch. "With your child!" The room fell into silence the moment Delia uttered the words. "I am pregnant. With your child." Shock swept over the room, like a wave. Sienna felt dizzy, barely able to stand without leaning against the side wall. Her mind struggled to process the words. This couldn't be real. It couldn't be happening. Aldrich had promised never to touch another woman, not even Delia, until the contract ended. He had sworn that. Aldrich, stunned, tried to process what he'd just heard. "This is not possible. I haven't even touched you in the past 11 months, he said, breaking the silence, his voice hollow. His expression was frozen, disbelief etched deep into every feature. Delia's lips curled with bitter amusement. "Really? You forgot the night we spent together 2 months ago? The night it rained heavily? The night I called you, and we got drunk and lost in each other?" She paused, letting the weight of the memory hang in the air. That night, Aldrich had indeed returned drunk. He could barely stand. Maybe, just maybe, he had lost control. After all, his past desires had once been insatiable. "I don't remember anything properly," he confessed, trying to recall something. Anything. "Ha! Of course you don't," Delia snapped. "But it's me who has to carry the burden now. Me who has to face society and its questions. Me who will bear the shame." She circled around and stood directly in front of him, fury blazing in her eyes. "Let me make one thing clear, Aldrich Lionel. If you don't accept me with this child, I will destroy your career in seconds." Aldrich's voice was low and cold. "I know you, Delia. I'm well aware of your tricks. I don't believe you." Delia anticipated his reaction. "That's why I brought the pregnancy reports," she said, slamming papers into his hands. He read through them, disbelief growing in his eyes. "I still can't believe this," he muttered. "It's easy to fake reports." "Fine," Delia snapped, snatching the report back. "Meet me at the clinic tomorrow, 2 p.m. sharp. We'll confirm it all, and once it's proven, I won't stay away anymore. I don't care what you do to your so-called wife." With that, she turned and stormed toward the door, only to find Sienna standing silently at its edge. Delia's gaze hardened. "If you have even 1% of humanity, you'll leave Aldrich, for the sake of this innocent soul," she said, resting a hand on her stomach before walking away. Sienna stood frozen, her vision blurred with unshed tears. She looked at Aldrich, whose eyes silently pleaded with her, but her brain refused to comprehend. She did the only thing she could. She ran. "Sia!" Aldrich called out, chasing after her. She ignored him and fled into the bedroom. "Please listen to me once," he begged. She kept going. When he caught her by the elbow, she spun around, her face tear-streaked, their eyes locked, the pain in hers mirrored in his. "Delia is lying," he said quietly. "She's not," Sienna replied. "From what I saw, I don't think she is. Aldrich searched her eyes. My heart sees I didn't do anything, but my mind, it's all blank. He cupped her cheeks, desperation lacing his voice. It's not what you think. I know it's hard to believe me, especially knowing who I was before I met you. I used to sleep around. I won't lie about that. But that night, I don't remember anything. I went to her because she was threatening to expose our contract marriage. She insisted I drink wine. I refused, but she pushed. After that, I felt dizzy. I think the drink was spiked. His voice cracked as he continued. The next thing I remember is her over me. I swear I didn't do anything intentionally. Sienna took a deep breath and stepped away, moving his hands from her shoulders. Intentionally or not, Aldrich. She's pregnant. Aldrich remained still as her voice broke again. It's okay, Aldrich. You don't need to explain. We both knew this marriage would end. We only have a month left. I just didn't think you'd move on before it did. She tried to smile. It's your life, your choice. Trying to lift the heaviness, she slapped his arm lightly. And hey, congratulations. You're going to be a dad. You should be happy. She grinned wide, but it didn't reach her eyes. Finally, you're getting what you wanted. I've never gotten what I wanted, Aldrich whispered, eyes fixed on her. She turned and walked away, tears clouding her vision. She began packing her bag. What are you doing? Aldrich asked. Packing. I won't leave anything behind, not even your gifts, she replied with a fake smile. He stepped forward, grabbing her by the arm again. You're not going anywhere. But I have to, she said, brushing him off. Why? He asked softly. Because I can't do this to an innocent soul. Regardless of how this happened, that child has every right to be with its father. It's not even proven yet, he said. But I'm sure it will be, she replied. And once it is, I won't stay here, not even for a day. She walked away again and locked herself in the bathroom. Sliding to the floor, she finally let the river of tears pour from her eyes. Everything she had buried for so long came flooding out. Alone in the silence, Aldrich sat with his thoughts. Delia's words had struck hard. If circumstances were different, perhaps he'd have reacted with joy. But not now, not like this. He remembered how she had called him that stormy night, saying she needed to talk about Sienna. When he arrived, she offered him wine. He refused. She insisted. He gave in. The drink had been spiked, his vision blurred, limbs numb, thoughts clouded. He vaguely recalled her unbuttoning his shirt and straddling him. The memory ended there. He knew something had happened, but without proof, how could he convince Sienna? All he knew was that he couldn't lose her. He had only just found happiness, after so many years of nothing. He wanted to keep her with him forever. Aldrich had gone to the hospital to confirm Delia's pregnancy. Although he and Sienna had wanted to keep it private until the news was confirmed, Aldrich's mother somehow found out and informed his father. Aldrich confessed everything to his dad, who became deeply disgruntled by the news and called Sienna to the mansion. From the moment Sienna arrived, Aldrich's mother began bashing her relentlessly, blaming her for everything. Sienna, for the sake of Aldrich's already stressed father, chose to remain silent and avoid adding fuel to the fire by arguing. When Aldrich entered the room, everyone's attention turned to him. The sadness on his face was enough to confirm Delia's pregnancy. His expression betrayed that he wasn't pleased. He hadn't wanted Delia to carry his child. The outcome saddened him instead of bringing joy. His mother, however, was hopeful. "Please tell me that there is good news," she asked, her eyes gleaming. She wanted an heir, Delia's child. Aldrich gave a slight nod. That single gesture shattered Sienna's heart. She had known Delia was likely pregnant, but part of her had hoped it wasn't true. Despite the despair on Aldrich's face, she wished he would deny it. "She is pregnant," Aldrich confirmed. Sienna felt dizzy, her vision turning white momentarily, but she composed herself. She couldn't let the news break her. She wondered why she was affected. Aldrich was never hers. He had married her under a 1-year contract, and that year was about to end. Yet she couldn't stop her emotions. "Is this for what I raised you?" Aldrich's father yelled, pushing him back. Aldrich's mother intervened. "Do not say anything to my son." But the father, raising his hand to silence her, barked, "Today, you are not going to come in between," before turning back to Aldrich. Aldrich's mother, alarmed by his tone, stepped aside. "You have defamed me," his father began, his shoulders slumping. "I have failed as a father." He looked deeply saddened. He recalled how he had remained loyal to Aldrich's mother, even when she wasn't there for him, just like Sienna was loyal to Aldrich, yet Aldrich had abandoned her. Aldrich listened silently, head lowered, eyes filled with regret. His father admitted to never being there during Aldrich's childhood or teen years. He had tried to make up for it by arranging Aldrich's marriage to Sienna, hoping to heal the past, but it was too late. "You spoiled everything, Aldrich," he said, his eyes moist. He had arranged the marriage with Sienna because he remembered how Aldrich adored her as a child. He had believed Aldrich would change, become human again, but he was wrong. "Only those who want to change actually change," he lamented. Aldrich tried to speak, but his father cut in. "I regret spoiling the life of an innocent girl who had nothing to do with our family," he said, looking at Sienna, who couldn't meet his gaze as tears filled her eyes. "You only married her to take over my business, huh?" he accused. He had made mistakes in his past, and in trying to fix them, he'd ruined everything. He promised Aldrich the business by year's end, and now he was keeping that promise, before disappearing from Aldrich's life forever. "I want peace," he said, walking away. The room was silent in shock. As Sienna watched him go, she felt a shove from behind, Aldrich's mother. "Are you happy now?" she screamed. "You destroyed my family just like your mother did." I haven't done anything," Sienna defended weakly. "Stop playing innocent," Aldrich's mother snarled. "I know the real you." She stepped closer to intimidate Sienna. "Delia will be here by morning. Only 20 days are left in this so-called marriage. Pack your bags and leave us." Tears blurred Sienna's vision. Aldrich's mother grabbed her hand and began pulling off the ring, roughly, painfully. Her nails dug into Sienna's skin. "Leave her hand, Mother!" Aldrich shouted, but she didn't stop. "Ah!" Sienna cried as pain shot through her finger. "Stop hurting her!" Aldrich roared. He pushed his mother away and grabbed Sienna's hand. Dragging her toward the exit, he gently rubbed her bruised finger. "Do anything you want, but Delia will be here," his mother called behind them. Aldrich didn't respond. He kept hold of Sienna's hand the entire ride to his penthouse, not even letting go in the elevator. Sienna remained silent, waiting for him to speak. When she couldn't bear the silence anymore, she tried to free herself. "Let me go, I need to pack my stuff," she said. "You're not going anywhere," he replied, expression blank. "I have to. No one can stop me this time." She pulled again, but he tightened his grip. "Your tight hold will only break my hand. You won't get anything out of it," she warned. Aldrich let go. Her hand dropped. "Why are you sad, Aldrich? This was meant to happen, wasn't it?" she asked, sitting on his lap. "We signed a 1-year contract. It's ending. I have to go." "Don't go," he said, choked by emotion. She looked down. "After 20 days, I won't be your legal wife. Delia is carrying your child. I can't do injustice to the baby. It's not the baby's fault. The baby deserves its father and a good life." Aldrich's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. There are still 20 days left. It doesn't matter now, she said, smiling sadly. It doesn't matter where I live. No one will care. Then stay with me, he pleaded. I can't. Your mother despises me. I avoid arguing because I don't want more drama. Once Delia moves in, I won't be able to live under the same roof. If you want me to be happy, let me go. I can't survive with them. Then how will I survive? He asked, broken. It's your family, Aldrich. Your mother loves you. Delia is your girlfriend. Once the baby comes, you'll be busy and forget me. That child will bring you joy. And your dad is giving you everything you ever wanted. Your reward for tolerating me for a year, remember? She chuckled, but he didn't laugh. He only stared. Aldrich, she cupped his face, you should be happy. You're getting everything you desired. I just want you, he whispered, lips brushing hers. The way he looked into her eyes stole her breath. He licked his lips, took a deep breath, and whispered again, I want you, for the last time. But this time, it was different. There was more he wanted to say, but couldn't. Please, he said, voice trembling, eyes glassy. Sienna closed her eyes and nodded slightly. She wanted him too, for the last time. He looked at her with wobbling lips and teary eyes, whispering a heartfelt plea. Though he didn't say much, the sorrow in his voice said it all. And despite the painful emotions between them, she felt the same. She wanted to be with him, just one last time. With a subtle nod of approval from her, he gently reached for her waist and lifted her into his arms. She instinctively wrapped her legs around him, resting her head on his shoulder as he carried her into the room. Once inside, he stood her against the wall and cupped her cheeks with both hands. She closed her eyes, leaning into his tender touch. He looked tense, even scared, but determined to savor their final moments together. She, too, wanted to make this night unforgettable, because deep down, they both knew there may never be another. His kiss came down softly, unlike the passionate ones they'd exchanged before. It was filled with warmth and silent emotion, as if he was saying something his lips couldn't express. He caressed her face gently, taking his time as if each moment meant everything. She remembered the day she learned about Delia's pregnancy. That day she almost confessed her true feelings, but she stopped herself, knowing that doing so would only complicate things further. She couldn't bring herself to hurt the innocent life involved, and besides, she wasn't sure if he felt the same. What they had shared this year was beautiful, enough for her to carry alone. He kissed her forehead, then her nose, gently tracing her skin with the same reverence she'd always longed for. He seemed intent on touching every inch of her, not just with his hands, but with the gentleness of his presence. For the first time, he wasn't rushing. He was being thoughtful, patient, present. Their clothes slowly came off, not in haste, but with quiet intimacy. He let her take her time, something unusual for him. Usually so impulsive, he now allowed the moment to stretch. There was an air of deep affection between them, more than just longing. It was care. She helped him unbuckle his belt, and he returned the gesture. They lay on the bed, holding on to each other as though letting go would break something precious. He pleaded softly, "Don't go," his eyes full of silent desperation. She responded with the truth. "In 20 days, I won't be your wife anymore. What reason would I have to stay?" He turned away, disappointed, exhaling sharply. "If you'd asked me in another time, another way, I wouldn't have left," she thought. Placing her hand gently on his chest, she tried to make him understand. "We can never predict the future. We started wanting to end this marriage, and now here we are, holding on. We never planned for Delia. Life rarely goes how we want. But maybe that's not what matters. Maybe what matters is living in the moment, cherishing what we have, even if it's fleeting. He wiped away a tear from the corner of her eye and kissed her eyelids softly. Then he began pressing light kisses along her neck and shoulder. She tilted her head, giving him access, feeling the emotional weight of their closeness. Their embrace became more affectionate. He moved carefully, attentively, expressing through quiet gestures what words could not. He looked at her as if he was memorizing her. She responded with equal tenderness, reciprocating each gesture with heartfelt emotion. This wasn't just physical, it was the soul recognizing something it couldn't hold on to forever. When he leaned in again, she gently took control, surprising him by reversing their positions. Sitting over him, she smiled down at him. "You never fail to surprise me, Sia," he whispered, resting his hands on her waist. She leaned down to kiss him, tracing small patterns on his neck with her thumb. His body relaxed under her touch, his breathing evening out, his heartbeat steady. She knew how he responded to her, how he found peace in her presence. Just when he expected her lips on his, she kissed his chin instead. He gave a soft chuckle, part disappointed, part amused. She trailed soft kisses down his chest and torso. When she sat up, he reached for her again, but she pulled back teasingly. He pouted, she grinned. He had teased her so many times. Now it was her turn. Eventually, their closeness deepened. As she held him, he realized how differently she made him feel. Safe, calm, cherished. He'd never known such serenity. She wasn't just another woman in his life. She was the one who made even silence meaningful. He surrendered completely beneath her, letting go of control for the first time. She might not have had all the experience, but the care she put into every movement made up for it. Her innocence became his solace. He closed his eyes, overcome with emotion. "Don't make me feel so good," he murmured. "Why?" she asked gently. "Because when you leave, I will miss you," he whispered. She tried to comfort him, but the ache of separation still lingered. They held each other tighter, unwilling to let the world intrude. For a brief moment, nothing else existed, just them. Their connection transcended the physical. It was more than chemistry or passion. It was an emotional bond, one built over time, through pain, hope, and a deep desire to hold on, even when fate pulled them apart. When they finally rested in each other's arms, there was no need for words. They lay quietly, hearts beating in rhythm, eyes closed, holding on to the peace that had found them. She moved slightly, trying to shift away, but he held her tighter, pulling her closer under the duvet. "Don't you want a second round?" she asked playfully, her chin resting on his chest. He smiled and kissed her nose. "No, tonight I'm more than satisfied. I just want to stay like this, holding you in my arms until morning." She smiled at the change in him. They wrapped themselves in each other's warmth and slept peacefully, knowing deep down this night might never return. But if destiny meant for their hearts to be together, then someday, somehow, it would bring them back to each other again. It had been 2 months since Sia left Aldrich, and he still hadn't become used to life without her. In just 1 year, she had left a profound mark on his life. His eyes always searched for her every morning, and his heart ached for her whenever he felt sad. Saying goodbye wasn't easy for him. He had asked his driver to drop her wherever she wanted, and that day he left for the office before she could wake up. He didn't want to show her his weak side. He let her go because she said her happiness lay elsewhere. Aldrich couldn't escape the fact that Delia was carrying his child. Though her way was wrong, the deed was done, and now she had to stay with him for the sake of the unborn child. His mother and Delia wouldn't allow Sia to live in peace, not even for a moment, so he didn't force Sia to stay. Since then, Aldrich had become silent. He didn't speak to anyone. His world had turned into work. It kept his mind busy and distracted from his constant depression. He spent 16 hours a day at the office and returned to the mansion only to sleep. The house no longer felt like home. It lacked comfort and warmth. Delia had been living with him for 2 months. She was in her second trimester, and her constant tantrums made it seem like she was the only woman to ever give birth. Aldrich hated her. He couldn't stand her scent, her voice, or even her face. Everything about her irritated him, yet he had to tolerate her for the rest of his life. He was trapped. He couldn't ask Delia to leave, and he couldn't ask Sia to return, as she was no longer his wife. He couldn't make her stay as his mistress either. For Aldrich, Sia was everything, and she deserved a special place in his life. Earlier, she had been his wife on paper, but now she was his everything from the heart. No paper or law could define their bond. It was a heart-to-heart connection. After handing over his wealth and business, Aldrich's father left the country. No one knew where he went, and Aldrich's mother didn't care. She only insisted he marry Delia before the child was born, so it would have a father's name. Aldrich always avoided the topic of marriage. He didn't want to be tied to Delia forever. Though he had no other option, he still didn't want it to happen. He hadn't allowed Delia to touch him. From the day Sia left, he hadn't touched another woman. He could never allow anyone else to touch what Sia had loved and cherished. She had touched every part of his soul in that 1 year, and no one else could replace that. He didn't even allow Delia into his room. It still carried Sia's essence. That was the only thing that kept him going. He hadn't moved her belongings or changed anything she had done to the space. Sia was now looking after her father. A month ago, Aldrich grew restless and texted her. She didn't reply. Even so, he often spent his nights outside her house, just for a glimpse. Seeing her at the window or balcony brought him peace. Just one look at her, even if only for a few seconds, was enough to keep him going. But something was missing now. The natural glow that once lit her face when she was with him had vanished, and it broke him even more. Meanwhile, Sia, too, was struggling with the separation. 2 months had felt like 2 years. At the beginning of the year, she never thought Aldrich would become such a big part of her life. But now, living without him was unbearable. What hurt the most was that she never got to express her feelings. She wanted to tell him everything but chose silence, thinking it was too late. Still, her heart beat for him. She had seen his car outside her house several times. She ignored his texts and made no move to meet him, though her heart longed to. When Delia's pregnancy came to light, Aldrich explained it wasn't deliberate. Delia had spiked his drink. Sia believed him, but nothing could be done. The child was his, and deserved a father and a good upbringing. She wanted to touch Aldrich, to meet him, but held herself back, knowing it would make them both weak. She believed he would forget her once he married Delia, yet she had no desire to marry anyone else. The thought of another man felt like a sin. Her heart belonged to Aldrich, and she couldn't see herself in a new relationship. She preferred to be single, cherishing the memories they had made. Her days were filled with work and caring for her father. She rarely met friends. Lately, she hadn't been feeling well and decided to visit the doctor. After some tests, she sat waiting at the hospital to collect her reports. "Miss Sienna Gomez, you can go in," the receptionist called. The doctor greeted her with a surprise. "There is good news for you." Sienna blinked, bracing herself. "You are pregnant," the doctor said. Shock flooded her face. "What?" She tried to calm herself. This wasn't how she should react. She thanked the doctor and left. 2 months pregnant. She and Aldrich had always used protection, except for that one lost moment. She'd forgotten to take her pills. Sia placed a hand on her stomach. She wanted to be happy, but couldn't. She had no one to share the news with, not even Lily or Peter. Aldrich had a right to know, but she didn't want to create more problems. She resolved to destroy the reports and leave the country before anyone noticed her bump. Just then, she collided with someone outside the hospital. Her reports fell. Before she could retrieve them, the man picked them up. Mr. Miller. "Miss Gomez?" he questioned. She quickly snatched the reports from his hand before he could read them. "What happened, Sia? What are you doing here?" he asked. She forced a smile. "I guess people visit hospitals when they're not well." "You look pale," he said with concern. "Just weakness." He looked around, then asked, "I can't see Mr. Lionel with you." She stayed silent. "And why are you using Miss and Gomez? Aren't you two together anymore?" "That's my matter, Mr. Miller," she replied curtly. "And I would like to keep that private. I hope you'll respect that." He smirked, clearly sensing more than she said. As she tried to walk past, she missed a step and stumbled. Mr. Miller caught her, his arm around her stomach. The touch made her uncomfortable. "Why are you in such a hurry?" he asked, voice oily. Ignoring him, she adjusted her clothes. "You need support. Let me help you," he offered, reaching for her bag. She grabbed it first and stood up. "Thank you, but I will manage. I don't need anyone to support me. I am enough for myself." With that, she walked away, leaving him behind in his thoughts. Sienna was urged by her father to attend the wedding anniversary celebration of Mr. Alexander Miller's parents. Since her father was not well enough to go, and because he had once been close to them, he asked Sienna to go in his place. Though she initially refused, she reconsidered, hoping that Aldrich might be there. Since discovering her pregnancy, Sienna had resolved not to tell Aldrich, but once her mind settled, she realized that as the father, he had a right to know. This party could be her only opportunity to speak to him and say goodbye before leaving the city. The honk of a car interrupted her thoughts. Peter stepped out, complimenting her and noting her choice of flats instead of heels. She explained that she used to wear heels around Aldrich to match his height. The mention of Aldrich made Peter serious. He expressed disappointment in her decision to leave him, accusing her of abandoning Aldrich for Delia. Sienna asked him to stop bringing it up and got into the car. Peter followed, reminding her that Aldrich would be at the party. Sienna admitted she was only attending to talk to Aldrich about something important. Peter called her complicated. They arrived at the party and entered together. The crowd was small and scattered. Mr. and Mrs. Miller welcomed them, and Peter soon left to get wine. Sienna waited restlessly for Aldrich. While alone, she nearly bumped into Mr. Miller, who complimented her in a way that made her uneasy. She took a step back, trying to maintain distance, but another person collided with her, causing water from her glass to spill onto Miller's suit. Embarrassed, she apologized, but Miller responded flirtatiously, saying he didn't mind as long as it was from her. Offended by his tone, she threw the rest of the water on his shoes. He didn't react immediately, but was visibly angry. Peter returned, chuckling at the scene and teasing her. He then revealed that Aldrich was right behind her. Before she could turn, Peter stopped her and told her to wait until he left. After he disappeared into the crowd, she turned and saw Aldrich standing there, lost in conversation. Delia wasn't around, and Sienna considered it the right moment to approach. But as she stepped forward, Delia suddenly appeared and kissed Aldrich. Aldrich, shocked, pushed Delia away. Disgusted, he wiped his lips and asked what she was doing. Delia, claiming she still loved him, warned him that if he wouldn't give her what she wanted willingly, she'd take it by force. Aldrich was furious and warned her not to try such drama again, or he would leave her regardless of her pregnancy. As he turned, he saw someone walking away who looked just like Sienna. He tried to follow, but she vanished into the crowd. Sienna, overwhelmed by the scene, turned away with beads of sweat on her forehead. She ran blindly, trying to escape the emotions welling up inside her. While running, she bumped into someone. Again, it was Mr. Miller. He noticed her pale face and asked if she was okay. She lied, saying she needed air. When he asked her to come with him, she refused, insisting she could take care of herself. He followed her persistently. She yelled at him not to interfere and tried to walk away, but he grabbed her wrist. "Let me go. I don't have the strength to fight you," she yelled. "Then don't," he replied coldly. She shouted that he had gone mad. He admitted he had, and that he wouldn't leave until she told him what was going on in her life. She demanded he leave her alone, and just then, Aldrich's voice cut through. "Leave her hand, Mr. Miller." His presence made Sienna freeze. Miller threatened back, asking what if he didn't. Aldrich replied coolly, "You'll have to." Though calm on the surface, Aldrich was seething inside. His gaze was fixed on Miller's hand still gripping Sienna's wrist. "Let her go before I lose control," he said. "No means no. She's trying to get away from you. I'd do the same for any woman." Aldrich looked into Sienna's eyes, reigniting her strength. She yanked her wrist free. Aldrich turned his focus to Miller. Miller scoffed. "You still want to control her life even after moving on? That's not fair." But Aldrich wasn't listening. His eyes remained on Miller's hand. "First, let go before I lose my temper. You should know that no means no," Aldrich warned. "If she weren't trying to free herself, I wouldn't intervene." Then Aldrich looked into Sienna's eyes again. That one look gave her strength. She pulled her hand free, and Aldrich turned back to Miller, shoving him. "Will you tell me now, huh?" he shouted, pushing him again. Miller shoved Aldrich in return. Aldrich stumbled. The room froze. "What the hell is going on?" Sienna shouted. "I came here for peace, and you're suffocating me even more," she screamed. She ran from them, pushing through the crowd. Both men tried to follow, but she stopped them with a single glare. Outside, she found Peter searching for her. "I want to go home," she said. "But I haven't even—" "I want to go home right now," she screamed. Okay, calm down." Ignoring him, she ran to the car and got in. All she wanted was to escape from everything. It was a quiet Sunday. With the company closed, Aldrich found himself working from home, holed up in his study, unable to concentrate. His thoughts circled endlessly around Sienna. Not a single minute passed without her shadow creeping into his mind. He remembered the day she told him that despite having all the wealth in the world, one day he would feel empty and alone. That day had arrived. He had riches, comfort, and success at his feet, but not her, and that emptiness gnawed at him from the inside out. In those moments of longing, he often turned to old photos that Peter had taken during a photo shoot at the beach. Sienna had looked like an angel. She was an angel. But he, blinded by pride and fear, never valued her the way she deserved. Among his favorite pictures was one where they lay on the sand, gazing into each other's eyes, lost in their own world. Their time in Spain had been the happiest of his life. The memories brought moisture to his eyes. His throat tightened with emotion. He hated how sentimental he had become. A sudden clicking of heels against the floor cut through the silence. "I can't wait any more. I want to marry you as soon as possible," Delia said sternly. Without glancing up, Aldrich responded in his usual flat tone. "But I don't want to marry you soon." Her voice rose in frustration. She reminded him that her belly was growing every day, that the questions from outsiders were getting harder to dodge. "I'm 5 months pregnant, Aldrich. I can't hide this baby bump anymore." He removed his glasses and looked at her, calmly stating, "Who asked you to hide it? We're living together. The baby will come one day, and we can't keep it hidden forever. That's why I'm asking you to marry me." "So that what?" he challenged, pausing. I've told you before, I'm not ashamed of having a child before marriage, as long as I give my name to the child. But no buts or ifs, he interrupted. I don't have the time or energy for this. I have work to do. Enraged, she stormed toward him, her voice escalating. Work, work, work! From the day I've been here, all you do is stay glued to that laptop. You don't even look at me. If this is how you treat me before marriage, what happens after? He remained calm. That's why I offered you a solution, he said, tenting his fingers under his chin. Give birth to the child, hand it over to me, leave. I'll give you whatever you want in return. You're the one pushing this relationship. You want the marriage, not me. You can force the wedding, but you'll never force my love. God, Aldrich, you've changed. What kind of black magic has that woman done on you? She spat bitterly, narrowing her eyes. Every time she spoke of Sienna with such venom, it made Aldrich want to lash out. But he clenched his jaw and swallowed the anger. She was still pregnant. He had to control himself. This is something you'll never understand, he said, without glancing at her. So don't strain your tiny brain trying. What did you just say? I said don't stress. It's bad for the baby. Go rest, he answered, sliding his glasses back on. She snapped again, hurling accusations. You don't even care. You don't ask if I've eaten. I know my mother's taking care of you, he replied flatly. She fell silent for a moment. If you don't want me to ignore you, then go, he concluded. I'm done talking. Fuming, she stormed toward the exit. Aldrich knew exactly where she would go, straight to his mother, to cry and complain. He could already imagine both of them picking at his brain all night, and just like that, he hated his life even more. Meanwhile, Sienna had quietly resumed her old job at the library. The owner, a kind man, had welcomed her back without question. With her experience, she could have easily secured a position in the corporate world. But peace had become more important than a paycheck, and books were her only comfort now. She was 3 months pregnant. Though the bump had yet to show, she had begun wearing loose clothes. She hadn't decided what kind of future the child would have, but one thing was clear: she would raise the baby with love, compassion, and dignity. This child was now her reason for living. Previously, she had planned to leave the city once her father recovered, but now her plans had changed. She had decided to leave regardless. A new life awaited, for her, her baby, and her father. After her shift at the library, she stepped outside when a small child approached her with a bouquet of red roses. Sorry, baby, I don't want to buy flowers. I can give you money instead, she offered politely. No, sissy, I don't want money. An uncle gave these for you, the girl replied sweetly. For me? The child nodded. Sienna found a note tucked between the stems. Beautiful roses for a beautiful lady. Alex. Alex. Her stomach dropped. Alexander Miller. She looked up to find him standing there, wearing his usual smirk. Why did this man keep crossing her path? I just wanted to apologize for what happened at the party. I was wrong, he said, acting polite. She didn't respond. I hope you like the flowers, he continued. Thank you, she said curtly. Why? Don't you like flowers? I like them when they're still blooming. I don't like plucking them, she said, returning the bouquet to him. Gift them to someone who will enjoy them. You're really different from others, he observed, amused. She didn't answer. How's life without Mr. Lionel? Must be peaceful, right? Free from that grumpy man, he added with a smirk. Why do you care? She asked coldly. Honestly, I was surprised when I heard about the divorce, and then I found out it was all a contract marriage. Well, congratulations on your excellent investigation, she replied sarcastically. Quite the stalker, aren't you? I'm good at other things too. he said slyly. I have other work to do. Thank you, Mr. Miller. It's Alex for you, Sia, he corrected. It's Miss Gomez for you, she shot back, then turned and walked away. Watching her retreat, Alexander's smirk dropped, his eyes darkened. He pulled out his phone. Listen to me carefully, he hissed into the receiver. If you don't want your secret exposed, then you'll help me. I want her in my arms. Help me, or I'll destroy you. He ended the call and stared after Sienna. When he first learned about her separation from Aldrich, he had been thrilled. What began as a desire to use her to hurt Aldrich had evolved into something darker. Now he wanted her for himself. He needed to know what made her so special. What had even Aldrich fallen for? Soon, baby girl, he whispered. Very soon. Sienna was planning to leave the city the next day. Ever since her encounter with Alexander Miller, news had been flashing everywhere about Aldrich Lionel allegedly using an innocent girl for his pleasure, marrying her and leaving her once satisfied. Since then, she couldn't step outside without being bombarded by questions. She was exhausted, mentally drained, and couldn't even step out without covering her face. She couldn't shake the feeling that Miller was behind all of it. His involvement felt calculated, and it didn't bode well for her or Aldrich. Now that she was carrying a child, she couldn't afford to risk the baby's life. She had decided to leave everything behind and start a new life elsewhere in peace. Lily, concerned, asked, Are you sure about this, Sia? Sienna nodded. Yes, Lily, I just want to go away from here. You know how I feel for Aldrich, but staying in this city and seeing him with someone else is unbearable. My heart won't listen to reason. I just want to breathe freely again. Lily only nodded as they headed to the food section. Sienna hadn't told her about the pregnancy yet. She didn't know what awaited her in the new city, but she wanted to stock up on food, having not eaten properly for months. She asked Lily to come along, and though Lily agreed, she was clearly unhappy about the plan to leave forever. Lily received a call and stepped away. Sienna focused on picking out healthy items, but then a strange sensation swept over her. Someone was watching her. She looked around, but everyone seemed busy. She shook her head to brush off the thought, but dizziness struck. Holding her head, she bent down to pick something up, only to feel the room spin again. Her body was failing her. Her palms and feet went numb. Vision blurred. She tried to call Lily, but her voice wouldn't come out. Everything turned white. Just before collapsing, she vaguely remembered someone catching her in strong arms and whispering, I got you, baby girl. Meanwhile, Aldrich was at home when Delia told him, You're coming with me for the routine checkup. I'm not going anywhere with you. I have work to do, he replied coldly. Delia insisted, Mom isn't home and I can't go alone. This is your child too. If you don't come, I won't let you work either. He folded his arms. Do you think you can blackmail me that easily? I'm not blackmailing you. I'm asking for what's right. I'm carrying your child, bearing all the pain. Can't you at least come to the hospital? Her voice grated on his nerves, but eventually he gave in. Fine. Without another word, he stormed out and got into the car. She followed. Ever since news of his divorce with Sienna broke, Aldrich had become increasingly anxious for her safety. The thought of Miller lurking around her disturbed him deeply. His sleep was restless, and he constantly worried for her well-being. They arrived at Delia's gynecologist. She invited him to join her for the ultrasound, but he refused. Sitting in the waiting area, he spotted Lily. Then he saw Sienna. What was she doing at a gynecologist? Realization dawned. No. Sienna awoke in a hospital room, drenched in sweat. The sterile scent was unfamiliar. Her body ached. As she sat up slowly, she remembered collapsing. A nurse approached to remove the syringe. I want to go home, she said. You need to rest more. Just one more day, maybe? No, I'm fine. Prepare the discharge papers, the nurse warned her. You're weak. If you want the baby to be healthy, take your meals on time and avoid stress. She nodded. After the nurse left, Lily entered, worry etched on her face. You're pregnant, Lily said softly. I know, Sienna replied with a faint nod. Lily's eyes widened. She was shocked, betrayed. You knew and didn't tell me? I'm sorry, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want Aldrich to know, Sienna said, looking down. Because then he'd have to choose between you and Delia, Lily said knowingly. And you didn't want him to choose you if that meant hurting the child Delia is carrying, right? I don't know, Sienna whispered. I'm confused, Lily, more than ever. I just want to escape, she admitted. What about the child? Lily asked, pointing at Sienna's stomach. Don't you think this is unfair to both you and the baby? I'll raise it with all the love I have, Sienna said, smiling faintly. But it won't have a father, and every child deserves that, Lily countered. I'll tell Aldrich everything. He deserves to know. No, Lily. For the sake of our friendship, please don't tell anyone. You can't keep this from him forever, Sia. One day he'll find out, and he'll be hurt even more. That's why I'm leaving tomorrow, Sienna confessed. I couldn't even tell you the real reason earlier. It's not just about Aldrich. I'm scared. Where are you going? A voice interrupted. It was Miller. He didn't look pleased. What are you doing here? Sienna demanded. He's the one who caught you in time and helped me bring you here, Lily explained. Panic rose in her chest. Now he knew about the pregnancy. Lily, how could you trust a stranger? She shouted. Miller stepped forward calmly. Control your hormones, Sia. I'm not a stranger. Sienna glared at Lily. Just because someone knows my name doesn't mean you trust them. I panicked, Lily murmured. Miller looked hurt. Why are you like this now, Sia? You weren't like this when we first met. Because I didn't know your real face then. You already leaked the news of my divorce. I don't want more help from you. I haven't done anything, he said. Don't play innocent. You're always interfering. If you have issues with Aldrich, take it up with him. Stay out of my life. I only helped because I thought your friend couldn't take you alone. I'm sorry if I hurt you, he said quietly. Thanks, but I can handle myself. I don't need your support. The nurse returned. Ma'am, your bills are ready. I'll pay them, Miller offered. Why? She snapped. I can pay my own bills. Thank you very much. She exited the room, leaving him behind with a bitter expression. She didn't care. She had no patience left for his persistence. She was done with everything. That night, after dinner, and finishing her packing, Sienna was ready to sleep, but strange noises came from the living room. Who could it be? Dad's already asleep, she wondered. She stepped out and reached for the lights, but before she could turn them on, an arm snaked around her stomach. Before she could scream, a hand covered her mouth. Who the hell is this? Panic surged through her as she struggled to break free, but the man's grip tightened, cutting off both her air and voice. Despite her resistance, he managed to shove her into her room and lock the door from inside. As the man turned to lock the door, Sienna whirled around and struck him hard. Her fist landed on his head, and he groaned when his forehead hit the door. She prepared to kick him again when his familiar voice froze her in her tracks. Oh God, Lamb, that was very harsh. He winced. Her eyes widened. Aldrich! He turned to face her, pain etched into his expression as he rubbed his bruised forehead. Yes, he said with a smirk. Lion is here to hunt his little lamb. He chuckled softly, but Sienna didn't find anything funny. Why did you enter like a thief? Because you wouldn't have let me in if I'd knocked like a gentleman, he replied smoothly, his hands finding her waist. Standing so close to him left her overwhelmed. She had seen him at Miller's party and on TV, but up close he looked even more handsome. Her racing heart calmed, and her gaze softened as she took in his presence. "I missed you so much," he whispered against her lips. Sienna's heart stirred, but as he leaned in for a kiss, she suddenly came to her senses and pushed him away. Caught off guard, Aldrich stumbled but quickly recovered. "What are you doing here?" she asked, eyes narrowed. "I'm here to take what is mine," he said, pointing at her stomach. Reflexively, she moved her hands to cover her belly. "Hiding is of no use now," he said. "I know you're pregnant with my child." Shock washed over her. How did he know? "Why didn't you tell me?" Aldrich asked, stepping toward her. She stepped back, maintaining distance until her back hit the wall. He closed the gap, boxing her in with his arms. Nervousness set in. Her palms turned cold, sweat formed on her forehead, and she licked her lips in anxiety. She tried to distract him before he could take any action. "I was about to tell you," she whispered. "When? After leaving the country?" he asked, leaning closer. She didn't answer, but her widened eyes said enough. "You forgot who I am," Aldrich said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I've always been watching over you, even when you were no longer mine." He gently lifted her chin. "But you promised you wouldn't keep things from me. And you promised to share your problems with me," he added before she could respond. "Yet you're escaping with my child, without telling me." Sienna remained silent. "So we're both at fault," he concluded. She gathered herself. "Please step back." "Why? Is my presence affecting you?" he asked. "No, it's not," she replied weakly. "Then?" He stepped even closer. I can't breathe," she admitted, her chest tightening. Aldrich immediately stepped back, understanding her discomfort. He turned his attention to her room, pacing and examining her belongings. Sienna stood frozen, her eyes following his every movement as if invisible ropes kept her rooted to the wall. "Don't you think this is a small place for my child?" he asked, eyeing her surroundings. "This is where the mother belongs," she replied. "I'll raise the baby with love and values, and I'll provide everything needed." "You said our child, but how will you manage without me?" Aldrich stepped toward her again. "You said the baby Dilia carries is mine and deserves happiness. Why deny that to the child you're carrying? Is that fair?" He fired question after question, and Sienna could only look down. He was right, and she had no answers. Aldrich approached her again, gently lifting her chin as tears formed in her eyes. "You're not punishing her. You're punishing yourself," he said, his voice thick with restrained emotion. "I'm not punishing myself," she insisted. "You don't even know how to lie," he replied softly. "Your eyes betray your soul. To the world you might seem fine, but not to me." He explained how the world saw the outer self, but he saw her broken inner self. People only recognized physical illness, not emotional wounds. He said she needed a kind of healing that no medicine could offer. "I can see it in your eyes. There's something you want more than anything, yet you're holding yourself back." "Because what I want is expensive. It can never be mine," she said. "There's nothing in the world you can't have," he said. "You just have to fight for it, and once you have it, hold on to it tightly." "But when we hold on too tightly, things break or change," she murmured. He sighed. "I'm not here to debate. I'm here to take my child. The child isn't even born yet." "That's why I'm taking you," he said, grabbing her wrist and pulling her forward. "I don't want to go anywhere," she protested, trying to pull free. "I'm not asking what you want anymore," Aldrich snapped. "I trusted you once, but not when you're carrying my child. I can't risk anyone, not even you." She managed to yank her hand free. "The situation will only worsen," he warned. I'm here to fix it, but I need you. Together we're strong. Are we? She asked herself, doubting. He spoke from the heart, sharing how both of them barely received love from their parents. He didn't want their child to suffer the same fate. And if you raise this child alone, things will get even more complicated, he added. That's why I'm leaving. Somewhere no one knows me. There'll be no questions about this child's identity, she said. As if I'd let you go, Aldrich said firmly. You're coming with me, that's final. I'm done taking orders. I need time to think. I'll decide tomorrow, she said, folding her arms. Suddenly, Aldrich bent down and scooped her into his arms, bridal style. I just hope our child doesn't inherit your stubbornness, he muttered, heading for the door. Aldrich, put me down, she yelled, struggling. No, he shouted back, tightening his grip. He carried her to the car, pushed her inside, and locked the door before she could escape. My dad is... He'll be at the mansion by morning, Aldrich replied, settling into the driver's seat. Sienna tried to open the door, but the child lock was activated. Fuck you! She shouted in rage. Aldrich smirked, winking. Gladly, and very soon. Sienna stirred awake at the soft sound of the door creaking open. Golden rays from the morning sun filtered through the window, making it hard for her to open her eyes. She turned her head to the side and tightly shut her eyes again, reluctant to leave the comfort of the soft mattress that felt like clouds. That fleeting, dreamlike comfort shattered when she felt a sudden spank on her butt, causing her to flinch and snap her eyes open. Reality hit her. She wasn't in her own room, nor was she floating on heavenly clouds. She was at Aldrich's mansion. As she rolled onto her back, she caught sight of Aldrich standing beside her, his hand ready for another playful spank. She turned just in time to dodge it. Is this the way a pregnant woman sleeps? He asked, eyebrows raised. On her stomach. Sienna groaned and slapped her forehead. She needed to break her old habits. Anything risky could endanger her child. Grow up, Aldrich teased, mocking her. You're going to have a child. She sat up and adjusted her dress. Aldrich plopped beside her on the bed. She turned toward him with narrowed eyes. How did you even enter my room without my permission? She asked. I'll come whenever I want, permission or not, he said, as though it were perfectly normal. You can't do that, she snapped. I can, and I will. Nothing can stop me from meeting my child, not even you. He stuck his tongue out and leaned over to her stomach, gently lifting her t-shirt and placing his hand on her bare skin. Hey baby, how are you? He asked, eyes gleaming with excitement. I'm only 3 months pregnant, she replied. The baby won't respond to anything yet. Exactly, he exclaimed. That's why I'm starting now. You've kept it away from its father for 3 whole months. He emphasized 3 months repeatedly, as if they were years. What if the baby doesn't recognize me? You're carrying it, so bonding comes naturally to you. But what about me? He pouted. Let me bond from the beginning. She huffed and rolled her eyes. Aldrich turned to her belly. Ignore her, baby. Mama's a little crazy, but don't worry. In 6 more months you'll be in my arms and then both of us will make her crazier. But only if I stayed here with you, Sienna whispered. Her words visibly dampened his cheerful mood. He blinked and swallowed hard, staring at her. No matter what, Aldrich declared, this time I won't let you go. They locked eyes until her stomach churned. Oh, my baby is hungry. He grinned. He seemed unusually cheerful. It was rare behavior for Aldrich. Perhaps he was changing. You cruel mother, he teased, tugging her arm. Get up. What? She frowned, sitting back on the bed. You're carrying my child, and I won't tolerate carelessness, he said. You'll eat 4 times a day and finish everything on your plate. You can't order me around. I'm not your wife or employee, she retorted. No, he said calmly, but you're the mother of my child. That's enough reason to follow my orders, like a good girl. Good girl, my foot, she muttered, clenching her teeth. Get up, he insisted. I have to shift my work home today. Home? Yes. How else can I keep an eye on you 24/7? For the next year, I'll work from home unless something urgent calls me to the office. Work from home? She asked, eyebrows rising. It's the new normal, he quipped, playfully tugging her nose. As she opened her mouth to protest, he pulled her toward the bathroom. I wanted to shower with my baby, but it'll take too long, maybe another time. He shoved her inside and locked the door. 10 minutes, he called out. We need to be at the breakfast table in 20. I haven't told anyone about you yet. Sienna got ready and emerged to find all her clothes neatly placed in the closet. Clearly, Aldrich hadn't let anyone touch them. She hesitated to go downstairs. She knew Delia and Aldrich's mother wouldn't take her presence well. She wasn't sure how she'd survive months living under the same roof with them. Are you ready? Aldrich asked, appearing beside her. He gently held her shoulders. You look cute, he said, kissing her nose. She hadn't done anything special, yet he always managed to find her cute, and somehow she found that cute too. Thanks, she whispered. Something's missing, he said, walking to a drawer. What? She asked. 1 second. He rummaged through the drawer. She watched him, confused. What are you looking for? My favorite thing, he said, gazing into her eyes. Your smile. She blushed and looked down. Her lips curved into a wide smile. Now you look perfect, he said, kissing her forehead. Don't think too much. I'm with you. He held her hand tightly, leading her downstairs. Sienna felt whole, even confident. Downstairs, Delia was at the table, while Aldrich's mother barked orders at the staff. When Delia saw them, her spoon slipped. Mrs. Lionel looked up, shocked. What is this girl doing here? Aldrich's mother demanded. She will stay with us, Aldrich declared, loud enough for the whole mansion to hear. No, she will not. I'm not asking. I'm telling you. He cut off every protest from his mother. She tried again. Why? After 3 months. She is pregnant, Aldrich revealed. Both women froze in disbelief. With my child, he added. Silence filled the room. Delia glared daggers at Sienna while Mrs. Lionel stared at Aldrich, refusing to believe him. How can you be sure? She's been gone 3 months, his mother argued. She was with me for a year before that. I don't need proof. I can feel the connection. But both can't stay here. I have the power of attorney. I won't let the daughter of that woman stay, his mother insisted. She's carrying your grandchild, Aldrich said. She deserves love, care, and respect, too. I don't care. She has to leave. Her face reminds me of her mother, Mrs. Lionel snapped. Sienna observed, stunned by the extent of her hatred. Fine, Aldrich said. She won't stay. Sienna's heart sank. Because I'll leave too. I'll live in the woods if I have to, as long as she's with me. His declaration stunned everyone. You need a psychiatrist, his mother scoffed. She's done something to you, she accused. No, Aldrich said. She's changed me, made me feel alive. What about Delia? His mother asked. I haven't decided yet. If Delia's pregnant with my child, and so is Sia, I'll wait before making any decisions. Delia rushed over. But we were supposed to marry, she cried. We were, Aldrich said. Now I won't marry until both babies are born. Silence fell. His mother asked, What will society say? 2 women, carrying your child, without marriage. Let them talk, Aldrich replied. I've lived my life worrying about society. Not anymore. Let them gossip. I won't ruin my life for them. He pulled Sienna to the dining table. Let's eat like a family, he called out. But, Delia started, if you don't want me to leave, come here now. This is final. Sienna stays with us. The sooner you accept it, the better. Both women sat across from them, sensing Aldrich's temper. Maids served food, but Sienna couldn't eat under the weight of their glares. She had no idea how she would survive the days ahead under the same roof with them. To be continued. Hey everyone, it's Mr. Hope here. I just want to take a moment to send a huge thank you to all of you who've sent super thanks on my videos. Your support means the world to me and truly helps keep this channel going strong. Every message, every contribution, every bit of encouragement. I see you and I appreciate you. Your generosity inspires me to keep creating and sharing more stories, more moments, and more hope with the world. Until next time. See you in the next episode. Stay hopeful, Mr. Hope.